Salutations, Illumineers, and welcome back to the Lorcana Rundown. I'm Silver, and today we are talking about the most important thing you need to know before Into the Inklands release on February 23rd. That is the brand new card type. Location, friends. These are, unlike the regular cards, these ones are meant to be played in landscape form, so they're going to be long ways on your playmat. And it's a brand new card type. If you're coming from a game like Magic the Gathering, it's sort of one part equipment, one part enchantment with a little bit of battleground flavor. That means nothing to most of you, and I apologize because I probably just confused everyone. But hey, it worked when I was explaining it to Andrew, so I figured I'd try it. So anyway, a location is the new card type, and when you look at it, it's got a whole bunch of numbers on it that'll probably confuse the heck out of you at first. You've got your standard ink cost for the card. That's going to be up in the top left corner. It's same as with regular cards. If it's got the swirlies, you can ink it. If it doesn't have swirlies, it's uninkable. Every location has a lore value printed on it. The way this works is at the beginning of your turn, you gain lore equal to the amount printed on that location. And it's a passive effect. So your turn starts. If you've got 3 locations out, each one of them worth 3 lore, you gain 3 lore. There's a number on the right side of the card that is its willpower. So locations can be attacked. And then there's a number on the left side of the card that is the travel cost. That's the amount of ink you need to spend to send a character there. Sounds a little weird, right? It's a lot of information for one card type. The way it works is you play your location and it sits there. It can be attacked or ignored. You can have characters travel to that location to either get benefits from the character or get benefits from the location. So, for instance, there's the location Montanui from Moana. It's 2-drop, 5 willpower, it's got 1 lore, and you pay 1 ink to move a character to it. The ability on it is Reincarnation. Whenever a character is banished while here, you may put that card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So basically, if you play a character and then you pay the 1 ink to move it to Montanui, when it's banished, you get to put it in your inkwell. The character gains that additional effect. Characters can be moved from location to location. You just have to pay that ink cost when you want to move them. So there are such things as vanilla locations. You'll run into them mostly in the common spot. It's your draft chaff. Some of them are useful, some of them aren't. Most of them are inkable, like Forbidden Mountain. It's 2-drop, 6 willpower. It's got 1 lore on it, and it costs 1 ink to move a character to it, but it has no ability whatsoever. Basically, it's there to give you passive lore and be inked. Like I said, it's probably draft chaff most of the time. But the big feature is really just that it gives you lore gain that doesn't depend on having a character on the battlefield. So you don't have to worry as much about Maleficent or Lady Tremaine getting rid of your stuff. You don't have to worry about Be Prepared because that only hits characters. It gives you some variety and some ways to get around the removal that's currently out there. So, a couple of my favorite locations. We've got Belle's House. It's a Sapphire Rare. It's an inkable 1-drop with 6 willpower. Costs a whopping 2 ink to move a character there, and you don't get any lore for having it in play. But if you have a character there, you pay 1 less to play items. That's pretty useful because that synergizes well with the items decks that already have item cost reduction and gives you an alternative way to get that effect that's not reliant on an actual item that you might want to be banishing, or which might get smashed or benjud or hit with the new emerald item destruction that they spoiled today that I can't remember the name of. Another location that I'm pretty excited about is the Sorcerer's Tower. It's an Amethyst Uncommon, inkable 3-drop, 7 willpower. It's really high willpower for a location, which is great because it means you're not going to get one-shot by something like Madame Mim Fox or Maui. That's everybody's complaint. Locations die to Maui. Locations die to Madame Mim. Well, Sorcerer's Tower is 7 willpower. It's not going anywhere. And like I said, it's an inkable 3-drop. It costs 2 to move a character there. It has no lore value, but it's got 2 abilities. First, it's called Broom Closet. Your character's named Magic Broom may move here for free. And then Magical Power, characters get +1 lore while here. That's right, friends. Broom Tribal is real. So imagine, if you will, Mickey Mouse, the sorcerer from first chapter. Everyone was like, yay, it's Mickey Mouse. Nobody played him. I've got way too many copies of him. But you can put him with the brooms from all 3 sets, because we've seen 2 brooms get spoiled for Into the Inklands. We've got the mechanical broom from Rise of the Floodborn and the original magic broom now. He reduces the cost of all of those by 1. They can move to this place for free and gain an additional lore. So if you've got Mickey Mouse out, you're dropping a broom for 1 lore. You move it to this location for free. That broom's going to quest for 2 lore now. That's 2 lore for 1 ink is really pretty decent, especially since the brooms have nice secondary effects, like shuffling things back into your deck. In fact, the one that they spoiled today, it's a little expensive, by which I mean it's a lot expensive for its ink cost, but it will shuffle all brooms back into your deck. That's pretty useful, shuffling them in from your discard, especially if you're playing a broom type deck. So I am excited for Sorcerer's Tower. I don't know that Broom Typal is going to be a meta deck, but it's definitely going to be fun. Definitely something I build for at least 1 League week. Kind of for contrast, you've got a Ruby Common Agrabah. It's an inkable 3-drop, 5 willpower, costs 1 ink to move a character there, and it gives you 2 lore. So that's a passive 2 lore at the start of every turn until it's banished, for 3 ink. That's pretty solid. You don't have to quest with it. You don't have to, do any hinky tricks with it. It just sits there and gets you lore. Yes, it's only got 5 willpower. Yes, it dies to Maui. But you can drop it on turn 3. Maui is going to be turn 4, turn 5. You've got time to get lore off of that ink. And then a personal favorite, you know me, I'm a sucker for just about anything emerald in this game. We have Fang. It is an emerald rare, inkable 4-drop. It's got 6 willpower, so again, it lives to take a beating. It costs 2 ink to move a character there, but it is 2 lore. The ability, surrounded by water. Characters gain ward and evasive while here. Everything you park on this gets evasive. That's really, really cool, especially since it gets ward as well. So, if you've got Mad Hatter, this makes Mad Hatter a lot more playable, because then he gets ward, he's basically Kuzco, and he gets evasive, so he's also Ray. And it's nice. It gives you an upside for Mad Hatter that I've been missing. Whether or not these C play is going to kind of depend on how things shape up, but I do think it'll break at least part of the sort of annoyingly vanilla metagame we have right now, where it's Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Amethyst, maybe a Steal a Song here or there. But it's pretty much all samesies, and you know as soon as you see the color pairing pretty much if you're going to win or not. Now, since locations are kind of the big thing Into the Inklands, they've got a lot of support. It's sort of like how in Rise of the Floodborn, there were all those cards that said, when you play a Floodborn, do XYZ. This set's thing is locations, and there are a lot of cards that really support that location theme. A couple of my favorites, we've got Peter Pan, Lost Boy Leader. He's Emerald. He's an inkable 4-drop Emerald Rare. He's a 3/3 body who quests for 1 lore. His ability is, I came to listen to the stories. So once per turn, when he moves to a location, you gain lore equal to that location's lore value. So if you've got, say, Fang in play, it's 2 lore. You play Peter Pan. He costs 4 to play. You pay your 2 lore to move, or your 2 ink to move him to Fang. You get 2 lore. You can get lore the turn you play him just by moving him there. Yes, it's a little ink costly, but it's still a way to gain lore the turn you play the character, which to me is super valuable. Plus, with him being inkable, he slots in really well. He's a 3/3 body, so, I mean, to me it seems good. It's going to depend, like I said, on how well locations actually fit into the meta, but I like it. Next up, we've got Moana, Born Leader. She's a ruby rare, inkable 5-drop with shift 3, so she's our Floodborn Moana. She's a 4/4 who quests for 2 lore, and her ability, Welcome to My Boat, is whenever this character quests while at a location, ready all other characters here. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. So while a character is at a location, it functions just like it would anywhere else. It can challenge, it can exert to do effects, it can quest. This just adds an extra little bit of functionality to the existing Moana. Notably, this is a ruby card, and the existing Moana that has a similar ability for princesses is in amber. And this hits all characters on that location. So she's really got some potential synergy for, I don't know, Arthur. Just about anyone else that wants to ready multiple times. The Steel Challenge decks where you want to keep banishing things with the same character, either gain lore, ping things down. It's got a lot of possibilities. And being shift 3, it's gonna park in on so many good possible things. So I like it. I like a lot of cards, come to think of it. It's probably why I play the game. Anyway, next up for our location support picks, we've got Jim Hawkins, Space Traveler. He's a ruby legendary. So I think this set with its legendaries kind of makes up for the lackluster legendaries in Rise of the Floodborn. We really only have the one notable, maybe 2 notable legendaries. We've got Beast and Mufasa, but we've got some solid ones spoiled so far in Inklands. Jim Hawkins, Space Traveler, is a ruby legendary. He is an inkable 5-drop. He is a 4/4 body who quests for 2. And he has 2 abilities as well. His first one is This Is It. When you play this character, you may play a location with cost 4 or less for free. That hits most of the locations that have been spoiled so far. So you can put these little guys out for absolutely nothing. And even better, take the helm. Whenever you play a location, this character may move there for free. So you play Jim. Cool. I'm going to play Fang for free. Cool. I'm going to move Jim there for free. Oh, okay. I guess that works. Now he's got evasive and ward. I'm just going to sit here and quest for 2 lore. Chi-Chi. Excuse me. And last on my list is location support, and this is not an exhaustive list. So this is not everything that's in the set to support locations, but we've got move. It's a Ruby common. It's an action, and it's an inkable 1-drop. Move 2 character viewers to the same location for free. Another one that's really helpful if you're building around locations, just because it gets around the fact that you've got this recurring ink cost to move characters, and some of them are kind of hefty, 2, 3 lore to move the character. So this, for 1 ink, you get to move up to 2 characters, and it's inkable. I really, really like inkable 1-drop actions because even if they're situational, at worst, they're an ink. At best, they give you a useful effect. So I'm a fan of the inkable 1-drop actions. I know some people aren't. But anyway, that's just, a few things to look out for when you are going to your first Into the Inklands event. Keep an eye out for the locations. Again, they are just sort of static little guys. They can be attacked. They can be challenged. One thing I will note, this just occurred to me. Bodyguard does not work on locations. So the text of Bodyguard specifies that your bodyguard has to be challenged before another character. You can still challenge a location even if there's an exerted bodyguard on the field. This can be useful. This could be, completely useless. I don't know. I haven't seen it in play. I'm really hoping that we'll see some stuff spoiled that can protect locations, maybe a new keyword, defender, or something like that. But yeah, I did want to throw that out because when I started seeing some of the bodyguards get spoiled for this set, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be phenomenal. Yeah, they don't protect locations. So if you've got any questions, drop me a comment, shoot me an email. Actually, I don't think I have my email on the channel. So if you have any questions, drop a comment. And that is all for this video. So I am Silver. This has been the Lorcana Rundown. Thanks, and we will see you in the Inklands.